Have you ever looked at a world map and noticed something strange? Many of the world's richest and most developed countries, the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, Norway, and Japan, are located in colder regions, far from the equator. Meanwhile, many countries located in the hot tropical zones near the equator, including parts of Africa, Latin America, and South Asia, remain significantly poorer. Is this just a coincidence? Or does a country's climate directly affect its economy? According to global data, nearly 70% of the world's most developed countries are located outside the tropical zone. So what is really going on here? Let's explore the scientific, historical, and economic reasons behind this fascinating connection. Economists and researchers have spent decades studying the relationship between temperature and economic growth. One study analyzed data from 98 countries using GDP per capita and average annual temperature. The results were surprising. For every increase of 1 degree Celsius in a country's average temperature, GDP per capita decreased by approximately $762. That means temperature alone can have a significant impact on economic productivity. And this pattern doesn't only appear globally. It can also be seen within individual continents. In South America, countries such as Uruguay and Chile, which are located farther from the equator and have cooler climates, generally have stronger economies than Colombia and Ecuador, which are much closer to the equator. Australia provides another interesting example. Darwin, located in the tropical north, is rich in natural resources but has a much smaller economy than Sydney and Melbourne, the cooler cities farther south. But wait a second. Doesn't history tell a completely different story? Ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, and many of the world's earliest civilizations were located in hot regions. And that's absolutely true. 2,000 years ago, the wealth of a civilization depended largely on one thing: food production. Warm climates allowed farmers to grow crops throughout the year, supporting larger populations and powerful empires. So why did everything change? The answer is the Industrial Revolution. In the modern world, wealth is no longer determined mainly by agriculture. It is driven by technology, manufacturing, innovation, and productivity. Historically, life in colder countries was extremely challenging. People had to prepare for long winters by storing food, building durable homes, and planning months ahead. Societies that failed to prepare simply couldn't survive. Over generations, this encouraged long-term planning, organization, and infrastructure development. When the Industrial Revolution arrived, many of these societies were well positioned to adapt quickly. Meanwhile, many tropical societies had access to food year-round and faced fewer seasonal survival pressures. As the global economy shifted from agriculture to industry, colder regions gained a major advantage. But climate alone doesn't explain everything. Colonialism also played a massive role. European powers expanded across Asia, Africa, and Latin America, extracting resources and exploiting local populations for centuries. When colonial rule ended, many countries were left with weakened institutions, unstable political systems, and economies designed to serve foreign powers rather than local development. Political instability makes economic growth extremely difficult. And there's another factor: health. In colder climates, winter helps control many insects and disease-carrying organisms. Mosquito populations decline dramatically during cold seasons. As a result, diseases such as malaria were eventually eliminated in most of Europe and North America. In tropical regions, however, mosquitoes and other disease carriers remain active throughout the year. This contributes to higher rates of infectious diseases, lower productivity, and increased healthcare costs. When people are constantly battling illness, it becomes harder to work, study, and contribute to economic growth. Agriculture also presents an interesting paradox. Many people assume hot countries should automatically produce more food. But modern farming data often tells a different story. Major crops such as wheat, corn, and rice can achieve higher yields in temperate regions. Why? One reason is pests. In tropical climates, insects remain active year-round, causing greater crop damage and forcing farmers to use more pesticides. Another reason is soil quality. In colder regions, fallen leaves decompose slowly, creating nutrient-rich soil over time. In tropical regions, organic material breaks down much faster, often reducing long-term soil fertility. Today, some of the world's largest agricultural exporters, including the United States, France, Germany, and the Netherlands, are located in temperate climates. But climate is not destiny. There are important exceptions. Take Singapore. Located almost directly on the equator, Singapore is one of the hottest countries on Earth. Yet it has one of the highest GDPs per capita in the world. How? By becoming a global trade hub, building one of the world's busiest ports, maintaining low taxes, and attracting international businesses. Then there are countries such as Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. Despite their harsh desert climates, vast oil and gas resources transform them into some of the richest nations on Earth. On the other hand, not every cold country is wealthy. North Korea experiences cold winters, yet remains economically isolated due to political and economic policies. Russia also demonstrates that cold weather alone does not guarantee prosperity. So what is the real lesson? The relationship between climate and wealth is not about intelligence, culture, or hard work. It is the result of a complex interaction between geography, disease, history, institutions, colonization, technology, and government policies. Climate can influence development, but it does not determine a nation's destiny. And as global temperatures continue to rise due to climate change, many tropical countries may face even greater economic challenges in the future. So what do you think? Have you heard about this fascinating connection between climate and economic development before? And what steps do you think poorer countries can take to overcome these challenges? If you learned something new today, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating insights about our world.